Most people don't realize that you are actually the writer of your own life. If your entire life was a stage, you are basically playing a role, whether you realize it or not, that aligns with the story that you've been creating for however long, okay? And if you are at a point in your life where you're at rock bottom, meaning everything feels like it's happening against your will, meaning you're in a space where you're like in survival mode, rather than living a life that you love, that feels, that you feel excited every morning to wake up and start living, you feel like you have to wake up and you're like dragging your feet, oh my God, not another day of this. That is your number one telltale sign that you have been writing a story that does not align with you, that is not really meant for you anymore, and it's time to change the narrative. And I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday who is really going through, like, she's in the trenches right now. And I know actually a lot of people that are in the trenches right now. And I told her, I'm like, you are actually at the best place to manifest, because when you're at a place in life where everything sucks so effing bad, you have no choice but to rewrite the narrative. And a lot of people stay stuck because they don't realize that they have that freedom. Like, they don't realize that it's actually as simple as just deciding on a new narrative, on a new character. And I talk about this all the time. The way I was able to go from getting fired from my job for posting a TikTok to then starting a multiple six-figure business on social media was because I rewrote my entire character. I rebranded myself completely. I went from being the girl that got fired and being super embarrassed and super humiliated that, oh my God, I just lost my job and that's so stupid and so irresponsible of me, to the super business savvy social media baddie that knows how to make money just by making stupid little videos on the internet, And that rebrand came with an entire profile of like, who is my new self? And when I say new self, it's not actually a new self. It's actually the version of you that you want to be, the authentic self that's been wanting to come out, but because your current story or your current narrative doesn't allow space for it, it's had to stay kind of tucked away. So what I realized from that whole experience was like, oh, actually, my whole dream was to be self-employed. My whole dream was to be that business baddie because I would see other people doing that. And I was like, oh my God, this is like so cool. I would admire them. And I'd be like, oh my God, this is so fascinating that they're able to like be their own boss. Oh, I could never be my own boss. Like, that's just too scary. Like, I could, I'm not good with money, or I'm not good with whatever. And I had to change that narrative into, no, you know what? I know exactly what I'm doing. And any skill that I don't have yet, or that I feel like isn't really available to me yet, I can literally work on it. And this is what I'm saying, you guys, everything is so malleable. And we tend to get stuck thinking that your personality traits are set in stone, or that things are fixed, or that, there's no way to change into the kind of person you want to be. That's false news. Personality is malleable because your personality is simply an accumulation of emotional habits that you've gotten used to. And those emotional habits are aligned with whatever character, whatever role you've been playing out based on that profile, right? So if you think about it, think about all the labels that you maybe don't even realize that you've been putting on yourself, right? Oh, I'm so bad at this, or oh, I could never do that, or oh, that's just like too hard for me. Literally, your brain is wired to look for evidence that confirms what you already believe to be true. What that means is every day throughout your life, you have these certain experiences, right? And let's say, for example, I really want to quit my job. I want to quit my 9-to-5 job and I want to start my own business, but I've put myself in this label of like, oh my God, I'm not disciplined enough, or I'm not like structured enough to start my own business and run that myself full time. If I keep telling myself that I'm this character that is just like really bad at having structure and discipline, what happens is I'm going to live my life every day and my brain is going to intentionally look for cues that align with that belief. So every time I do something, like make a mistake, let's say, right? And my brain is going to look at that and it's going to say, oh, see, I was right. I'm so bad at having structure and discipline. I told you I could never do this, right? All it takes is you shifting the belief, and it takes you being like, no, you know what? I'm actually really good at this. And I'm totally wired to start my own business because I know what I'm doing. I'm very competent, right? If you started talking to yourself in that way and seeing yourself as that character, right? What's going to happen is your brain will start to pay more attention to the situations and things that you kind of like put out there that are aligned with being competent and disciplined. And anytime you show up in a way that's contrary to that character's profile, it's going to dismiss it as like, oh, that's okay. It's like a one-time thing that doesn't actually fit into who I really am. And so that's where things really start to change, right? You start behaving in ways that are aligned with the reality that you want to create simply because you told yourself that's the character that I'm playing right now. Okay, going back to my example of how I got fired from my job and then started a multiple six-figure business literally within 8 months, you guys. It took me, this is what's so crazy to me. It doesn't take long. It does not take long. It just takes a commitment to showing up differently, okay? Once I got fired from my job, I had two choices, okay? I could either try to find a job in the same avenue, which, by the way, my job bored the shit out of me. I was not happy. I was actually pretty miserable because I wanted to be a therapist. I was working as a substance abuse counselor, but working at a detox center with, as an addictions counselor didn't really give me a lot of opportunities to be a therapist because most people were in there against their will. And anyways, long story short, it just was not aligned with where I wanted to be. And so when I got fired from that job, again, I had two options. I could either stay the safe and familiar route where I get a different job in the same category and I keep chipping away at this master's program that was also keeping me stuck in a really deep hole of debt. And also I was doing it against my will. It was draining the life out of me, right? I could keep going in that direction, which was predictable. It was safe. I knew what the end was going to look like. And if I just shut up and keep moving and keep hustling and keep grinding in that direction, it's all going to work out and it's going to be fine, even if it's at the expense of my own happiness. Okay. So I could go the predictable route, or I could take a leap of faith and go in the direction where I don't actually have any evidence that it's going to work out perfectly, but I want it so bad and I'm so willing to just say, fuck it, I'm going to do it, that I'm just going to go in that direction, because the no risk, no reward at the end of the day, right? You have to be willing to do scary things. And you will be, you see this everywhere. How many people in your life do you know, maybe even yourself, that are living a life that you don't want to be living, right? It does not actually fulfill you. You don't wake up in the morning feeling like, hell yes, another day of this, because you are too afraid to take a risk, okay? The fear of taking risk keeps so many people stuck in the same place. Look at the quote I have on the screen behind me. I would rather die of passion than of boredom. I would rather live a shorter life that is full of excitement and passion and joy than a long life of just coasting by like this, right? So this is why I say being at rock bottom is the best place to manifest. You have to be so sick and tired of the same old shit that you're willing to take that jump and to take that leap of faith. There's nothing more lethal than complacency. There's nothing more dangerous to your sense of like happiness and life satisfaction than being bored and being just getting by just enough, like, okay, the job pays my bills. I don't love it, but it gets me by. That's lethal, okay? I know so many people in that position. And if you're watching this right now, this video found you for a reason. It's because it's time for you to let that shit go and become the kind of character that is living the big life that you want, right? That is in that position. And so again, going back to your question, yeah, I had to take that risk and it was really fucking scary at some pieces, but because I had such a burning desire, such a burning passion to create a life of abundance where I get to make social media videos doing whatever I want every day. I get to connect with my audience. I get to do what I'm doing right now and talk about things that light me up and make me feel excited and full of purpose, right? That meant more to me, and I was willing to risk failure, which really, the other thing too, is that there's no such thing as failure. And you can learn. Learning is a part of it, but you can't fail because failure is not an end result, okay? It's just a part of the process. It's never gonna be perfect. You're never gonna be fully ready to the point where it's like, okay, I'm not gonna make any mistakes now and I'm just gonna be free coasting. It doesn't work like that, okay? You are, in order to manifest a life of greatness where, again, burning passion, you wake up every day feeling so excited to live your life, it's gonna cost you being okay with being afraid and taking the risk anyways. So it really just boils down to what's more important to you, stability and safety, which by the way is all an illusion, because even if you do work a 9-to-5 job, they could fire you tomorrow. They don't give a fuck about you. Most people, okay, maybe there's certain circumstances that are a little different, but with most people, you're disposable to your job, bro. They don't actually care about you. Fuck the Matrix. But they don't care about you. You know what I'm saying? So this is why you need to ask yourself, is it more important to me to be safe, or am I willing to risk it for the biscuit? Because that's the only way that you're going to change things. And here's the thing. When I got fired and I decided I'm going to rewrite my whole character, okay? My life is my movie. This is my stage. I'm the writer. I get to decide who I am and which character I'm playing. I said, okay, at the end, like the end result, if I could fast forward to the point where I really had it all together, I'm really good at business. I show up on social media and I don't give a fuck what people think. I'm going to do me and I'm going to do it, fully authentic, exactly who I am. I'm really good with money. So I put out the whole character profile and I acted and showed up every day as if I was already that person. And as I acted in those ways, opportunities started falling in my lap that were aligned with those kinds of things. At the beginning, they were smaller. And I'll give an example to this. I know not everybody listening to this is wanting to get more into social media. Maybe there's something else, okay? But this applies to anything. I got fired from my job. I had already built a little bit of a following on social media because I was just making little videos, whatever, having a good time with it. And I had started to be successful with my page, okay? I had not monetized yet. So I hadn't figured out how to actually start making a lot of money out of it. So what I did at the beginning, after I got fired, I said, okay, this is my character. I'm a super successful social media business owner who's charging these crazy rates and whatever. But I'm just going to start at the ground level where I'm at. And I'm just going to see what opportunities come and just kind of go in that direction. And for me, what that looked like was I looked for opportunities to create videos for social media that I would get paid for. So like UGC or like something, anything. And I came across this like job description, I guess, not really job, I guess it was like a freelancing thing where this company called Fishbowl was like, okay, if you make us 2 videos about our company, as like UGC, and they gave little like rules for it, we'll pay you $200 per video. At that time, $200 was not small to me. In my mind, I was like, yo, $200 for a little video? Bro, I can do that on my sleep. That's easy. You're gonna pay me $200? That's crazy. Because at the time I was making a hell of a lot less than that for the time commitment, right? So that's where I think the mindset shift is important, is you gotta be grateful for anything that comes through in that direction. You got to see it as, this is actually really big. This is like the gratitude piece, right? So I did the 2 videos. They paid me for the videos, all as well. I hear back from the company a couple days later, actually, and they were like, yo, we showed your videos to our CEOs. They loved you. They want you to actually manage our social media platforms. You know what they told me? They literally said, tell us how much you want. Tell us how many hours you want to work. Tell us what you want to do and what you don't want to do, and we'll pass off anything you don't want to do to somebody else. They literally gave me the freedom to create whatever job I wanted so that I could be involved in this company. Why? It was because I showed up from the energy of I am already that person. I believed in my skills. And that's the other thing too. A lot of people are trying to manifest a big thing out of something that they feel like they're not already good at. That's your problem. That's your problem. I was able to build a social media career very quickly because I already knew I was good at it. I believed that. Conviction is everything. And that's why I'm saying, write the character profile first and literally embody it with your whole chest, okay? And this character profile, again, you're not pulling it out of thin air. You're not creating something, random. This character profile is the version of you that is operating at the highest level. It's like your most ideal self based on the things that you love, the things that you're good at, the things that you want to get even better at, right? Think about the things people always tell you, damn, you're really good at this, right? Or things that you've done that you've just gotten a lot of success out of, right? Like maybe you're a producer and you make music and people are like, dude, you're like really good at this. Okay, so then that's a starting point, right? You have something that you know you're good at, build off of that. And so when you create that character profile and you show up as that character every day, even if you're just being Delulu, right? Half Delulu, half not, because you know you're good at it, but you're not at the point where your life reflects that level of talent and success, right? When you show up in that way, little by little, you will manifest opportunities that snowball into bigger opportunities. And before you know it, you end up with a completely different life a few months later. It does not take much, okay? So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I love you so much, and I will see you in the next video.